Hello and welcome back to a little bit more reading with Mr. Nash. Chapter 6 then. That night in sinister Roman Fort Sinister. Far, far away from Berk, in the sinister Fort Sinister, there was a dungeon so deep, sea level, that no light ever reached it. A dungeon so far away that even the gods had forgotten it existed. Toothless, who was afraid of the dark and of small spaces, lay in utter blackness in a cage so cramped he could hardly turn over. He was crying. "Help!" whimpered poor Toothless in a voice he knew could not be heard. "Help!" No, he was poor little Toothless, hidden away in the darkness. Chapter 7. The Nano Dragon. Hiccup woke very early. He had just been having a lovely dream about playing a tickling game with Toothless, and he woke up laughing. For a moment everything was all right again, and he forgot Toothless had gone and reached out for him, only to feel the chilly, damp depression in the bed where Toothless should have been. He was instantly miserable again, and lay, teeth chattering, under the bedclothes, trying to get up the willpower to brave the cold and get dressed in the still slightly damp and salty clothes he was wearing yesterday. He gradually became aware that what had woken him was a very faint and tiny singing noise, a reedy little sound like the wind caught in a cowrie shell, but with an edge of menace to it. The song went something like this. Song of the Nano Dragon, while licking off honey. O human fatness who tried to eat me, great wobbling vomit of repulsive man-flesh, I cannot kill you now, though I would like to. But you will regret this, blubber man. You will regret this in the quiet darkness of the night time, for I have friends. I have friends who will itch you into nightmares. Their feet will plough your skin into rashes, and you will sleep no more. O stomach with a head on it, you will sleep no more. O balloon of lard who tries to eat me, man uglier than an exploded jellyfish, I cannot kill you now, though I would like to. But I can wait, flesh dangler. I can wait, ticking it in the corner like fate, and I have friends. I have friends who will crawl with me into your coffin, where you are lying, hoping for the quiet sleep of death, and we will eat you, O sad lump of man meat. We will eat you. Stomach with a head on it, goodness me. Where was the song coming from? Eventually, Hiccup realised the noise seemed to be sneaking out of the jacket he had worn the day before, and left to dry on the back of the chair in front of the fire. And then he remembered the Nano Dragon he had replaced with the electric squirm and put in his pocket. Hiccup braced himself against the cold, jumped out of bed, dragged his clothes on, and approached the jacket. Carefully, he put his hand into the pocket and drew it out again with a gasp. Not only was there a yucky warm mess of honey in there, but the Nano Dragon had bitten him on the end of his finger. As Hiccup put the finger in his mouth, you should always do this with a Nano Dragon bite, it helps draw out the sting, the Nano Dragon flew out of the pocket, fluttered around the room, and landed on the windowsill. The Nano Dragon had spent the night cleaning the sticky honey off his body with his tongue. He was a handsome little beast, no bigger than a grasshopper. He was a gleaming rust red with flecks of charcoal, and the morning sun shone through his gossamer thin wings and threw red and black spots all around the room. Something about the self-importance of the little animal, the arrogance with which he held himself, made Hiccup ask, "Who are you?" "I," squeaked the tiny creature grandly, "am the centre of the universe." Hiccup looked carefully at the very small animal in front of him. "You are?" he said, polite but amazed. "You mean you are Thor or Woden in disguise?" "Thor and Woden?" snorted the creature derisively. "Fairy stories. No, I am Zigarastica, the living god." Hiccup looked blank. "Most high and mighty ruler of the Nano Empire, despot of the northern grasses." Hiccup shook his head regretfully. And there he is, the little tiny Nano Dragon, no bigger than a grasshopper. "Zigarastica. You must know about me," piped Zigarastica. "Great scourge for the bracken dwellers. Doesn't that ring any bells at all?" "Nope," said Hiccup. "I'm so sorry, I've never heard of you before." I don't know. You humans, fumed Ziggerastica, hugely offended. Ignorant as well as ugly. I'm not ugly, protested Hiccup. That is a very rude thing to say. Ziggerastica wasn't listening. You're so caught up in your own world that you never bother to lower your fat noses to the ground and have a look at what's going on in the real world. Well, boy with a face like a stinky haddock, you have had the good fortune to save the life of the most powerful being in the galaxy. If you're the most powerful being in the galaxy, said Hiccup, how come you didn't get your nanodragons to come and save you from the big fat Roman? Even a living god has his weak spots, replied Ziggerastica, and mine happens to be honey. I love the stuff, but the nanodragon cry for help is created by rubbing the back legs together, and honey gums up the noise. It is delicious, though. However, the point is that since you've saved my life, I'm honour bound to save yours in return, however huge and stinking and wingless you are. Thank you, murmured Hiccup, with an ugly nose, added the creature, and those brown marks that look like spots. Those are freckles, said Hiccup indignantly. They are not nice, said Ziggerastica. They displease my eye. But the living god does not forget a debt. In mortal danger, you just have to say the word Ziggerastica, and I shall come to your aid. And what on earth could someone as small as you do? Hiccup thought to himself, but it would have been not rude to say it. How will you hear me? He asked instead. The nanodragon ignored the question. Just say the word Ziggerastica and I will come. However, be warned. You can call on my most glorious aid just once, and once alone. When I have repaid my debt, you will become just another smelly, repellent human to me. So choose your time wisely. A boy with spots on his ugly nose. Choose your time wisely. And with that, the rude little animal gave a last shake of his wings and flew out of the window. Hiccup wasn't quite sure what to make of this conversation. It seemed unlikely that a creature as small as Ziggerastica could be as powerful as he seemed to think he was. But on the other hand, I need all the help I can get, Hiccup thought gloomily. At breakfast, Hiccup was more miserable than he had ever been in his life. He couldn't eat a thing. He just sat there, pushing his kipper sadly around his plate. His grandfather, old Wrinkly, tried to ask him what the matter was, but Hiccup just sighed. What does a chief feel? Asked Stoic Levast, seeing his son drooping. A chief feels no pain, father, replied Hiccup. In the middle of the meal, a carrier dragon flew in the window, dropped a letter addressed to Stoic on the table, and flew out again. The letter was from Big Boobied Bertha, the chief of the Bog Burglars. The Bog Burglars were a tribe of particularly fearsome female warriors who lived on an island some way to the west of the Isle of Berg. Please see map at the beginning of this book. The Hooligans had a long-running feud with the Bog Burglars, which had started many, many years ago, when the Bog Burglars stole the shield of Hiccup's great-great-grandfather, Grimbeard the Ghastly. Hiccup read the letter over Stoic's shoulder. Greetings, you fat burglar. I see you have broken the truce we have had so many years and wish to make war with us again. How dare you steal the noble heir to the Bog Burglar tribe? You are a thief, and I give you 2 weeks to return our heir to us unharmed. Otherwise, I shall declare a blood feud, and we will sail to Berg in all our strength and exterminate the lot of you. It should be very easy peasy. You hooligans always did fight like a load of bunny rabbits. Yours very untruly, Bertha, chief of the Bog Burglars. Stoic grew more and more purple in the face as he read the letter. Finally, he came to the end, and with a roar, he tore the paper up into little pieces and stamped on them. He was hopping mad. Stoic was often batty, often shouty, often going off the deep end, but this time he really lost his temper. And when a hooligan loses his temper, he really loses it. A hooligan in a rage yells so loudly it makes his ordinary yelling sound like a baby's lullaby. I declare a blood feud, yelled Stoic the Vast. Oh, brother, Hiccup raised his eyes to the heavens. I do not believe this. This is all we need. Hang on a minute, father. Let's stay calm here. I really don't think this is from the Bog Burglars. We haven't got their heir, have we? So someone else must have stolen her. I overheard the Romans saying they would pretend to be the Bog Burglars so they can get us to fight each other. You stay out of this, Hiccup, roared Stoic the Vast. Politics is for grown-ups. Fetch me my sword. Sound the war horns. I want every man, woman and child practising their sword fighting night and day for the next 2 weeks. But father, protested Hiccup, please use your head here. And there is father, looking a little bit like Mr. Nash when he gets cross. Now, I'm going to leave this because it's very interesting what's about to happen, and it's a really exciting bit. And we've got to page 101 here. So I shall try and do some of this on the weekend if I have time and get this uploaded for you. But thank you very much for joining us again. I hope you're really enjoying this book. I think it's starting to get very exciting. So thank you very much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you for some more reading soon.